Clutch closers. What do you do after you give them your numbers and your customer says, hey, can you just make me a copy of that? That just kind of makes me feel like I'm working in the drive-thru. Oh, so you wanted this car deal to go. But it's anytime we're dealing with any objection, whether it's a supersized one or not, we have to learn and understand why we're getting the objection. It's the only way to overcome the objection is you've got to put yourself in your customer's shoes. You've got to go where they're at to bring them where you're at, not the other way around. And if your customer's giving you that objection, hey, can you make me a copy of that? They have something. It's one of three things. They have some fear, uncertainty, and doubt that hasn't been removed. They're just truly trying to stall, or maybe they're going to go shop you. And there's a couple of ways to deal with it. And all of them are fairly simple, and they all go down to boiling it down to what the true objection is. If your customer has some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, then you haven't removed that yet. You haven't removed the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt, and maybe they think they need to go get it someplace else. It's very similar to dealing with a stall close at the same time. There's some information that you haven't given them. Maybe now's a good time when they say that to offer an alternative if you haven't. Hey, can you make me a copy of that? Yes, sir. I'd be glad to make you a copy of it. Let me ask you something, though, before I do. I know we're looking at an SLT Sierra. Would you consider a pre-owned Sierra if it could save you $4,000 or $5,000, maybe even save you, $60, $70, $80 a month on monthly payment? And if your customer says yes, then you know right away they're not closed on whatever's on that proposal. Maybe you just offer a model down, right? That last swap was from new to used, and if you're on used, maybe you can go model up, but at the same time you go model down. Yes, sir, I'd be glad to get you that copy, but I know we're looking at the Lariat F-150 that you said you wanted. Would you consider an XLT if it could save you about $4,000 and maybe even $100 a month? Would that work for you? Your customer's going to say yes, or they're going to say no. If they say no, this is exactly what I want, then at that point, you've got the opportunity to start narrowing it down. If this is the exact car that you want, and you know that you want XYZ vehicle, then tell me what's not right about it. There's some information that I haven't given you. There's something not right here that's making this perfect for you. What's not perfect? If your customer says yes, then you know they're not sold on the vehicle. And that's what they were going to look at someplace else. See, your customer has a consistency bias inside of them. They have the need and the want to remain consistent. And if they've told you this entire time that they only want to look at a Lariat and they only want this and they only want that, then how do they back themselves out of that corner? You have to give them the opportunity, the release valve, to back themselves out of the corner and say, you know what, I would like to look at a model down. Because maybe that's what they're going to go do. They're going to go to the dealership down the street and they're going to look at the model down. And they don't feel comfortable asking you for that model down. Give them that opportunity, whether it's a model down or you're going package down, model down, new to used. And when they say no, it also gives you the opportunity to firm up your deal where you're at and say, well, I completely understand. So this is the exact vehicle that you want. Yes, it's equipped exactly like you want. Was there anything else you would add or take away from it? No, it's exactly like I want. Let me ask you something. Are you okay buying from here? Yes. Are you okay buying from me? Yes. Let me ask you something, Jim. Is there something about the price that's wrong? Is it the selling price? Is it the trade-in, or is it the monthly payments? Tell the truth, it's the monthly payments, isn't it? And at this point, we're really just trying to flush out what the real objection is. If you just go make a copy, where does the copy go? Do they just take it and sit home and study it? Or do they take it to the next guy down the street and say, can you beat it? All a copy can do is confuse the situation. Take that opportunity to flush it out. Here's another way to look at it. Yeah, do you think you could just make me a copy of these numbers? Sure, I'd be glad to make you a copy of those numbers. I'll be right back. Hey, Jim, while I was standing over at the copy machine waiting, I got to thinking, you really don't want a copy. You came in to purchase a vehicle, and I can tell you want to buy and you're ready to buy. If everything was perfect, you'd be doing business right now and not wanting a copy. What's not perfect on this worksheet? And there's our opportunity to narrow down what the real objection is, shake that tree till all of a sudden we're hit in the face with a deal, and we have the opportunity to make our customers happy so they can start enjoying that new vehicle instead of taking a piece of paper and running around with it. That's not what your customer came in for. If that's all they wanted, they could have just emailed you. They can get all the numbers they want now online. They came there to buy. Some customers will be direct enough to tell you, I want a copy because I'm going to shop. I'm going to shop your price. And that's okay too. Don't look at that as a negative. That gives you an opportunity to close. At least you've got the truth out of the scenario. And ultimately, that's what we want, is more accurate, honest information so we can close the car deal. Don't be afraid to be direct. Don't be afraid to look at your customer and say, listen, really and truly, you don't want a copy. All you want to know is that you're getting a good deal. And if you knew the numbers on this piece of paper were the best numbers that you could ever get, then I believe you would be buying today. Isn't that right? Well, yes, it would be. Turn it around. What part of these numbers is not perfect? Have I missed the sale price? Have I missed your trade-in? Have I missed your payment? Tell the truth, it's the payment, isn't it? Most of the time, you see me into a lot of closes that way because most of the time it comes down to payment. Most of the time, that's where you're narrowing it down to. But it could be sale price and it also could be trade-in. But use that opportunity to be direct. Don't be afraid to be forceful in that situation. That's part of the full show that your customer deserves. Your customer's giving you a little push. You've got to understand you've got to give them a little push. It's physics, right? It's a law of nature. Anything in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an equal and opposite force. If you want them to push and you just continually move back, then you're going to continually be pushed around. You've got to be in there and push back just a little bit. As much force as they give, you can give back. You've earned that right. Hopefully you've put on the full show for your customer and you've earned your right to do that. Now you know how to handle, can you just make me a copy? That's going to help you flush out objections. That's going to make you clutch in the close. That's why you're a clutch closer. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell down there. If you like what you hear, give it a thumbs up. Clutch Closer, happy closing.